Hello, space believers! 1,000 space greetings to you! Just kidding, guys. Space is stupid.
How's your juice, Gladys?
Today we're gonna look at some pitches. That's right, pitches. I said it like a 5-year-old. What? Let me just, distract you with this slideshow while I pontificate a bit about the upcoming feature. Let me be clear. In no way, shape, or form does this prove anything. Nor is it's an attempt to prove anything. It's just a series of pictures taken of buildings from around the world, random structures, be it a mosque, a cathedral, a school, a residence, whichever, that I have found examples of in my little searching through photographs, and these pictures are gathered not intentionally because I wouldn't even know how to search for this, but gathered from all across the realm, from nearly every nation. Again, I didn't set out to do this; it just ended up this way. I noticed that this pattern, which I mentioned before, and I've done a couple little videos on this slowly in this topic. One was the cell phone tower kind of look. One was a 4-pronged castle tower. One was the equestrian statue. These are not technical terms. These are not architectural terms. This is not an attempt to try to label things. This is what I begin calling them for my own purposes of disambiguation. This is a little feature, and there is some overlap in these. There's some overlap. Whereas you could have a 4-pronged tower that's also in a building that has the cell phone tower look. There's overlap. This is a feature, a design style, a facade style, I suppose, that I have come to calling the double tower doorway. And I just find it odd that we're all so different culturally in every way. We're all so full of hate, and we all hate each other. We're all so racist, and we've been this way for thousands of years. And right now, we're more progressive than we've ever been. We're more united and globally than we've ever been, they say. And yet, why is it that we find things like these features in every culture, every city, every nation, everywhere? Now, does this lead to the theory? This leads, to my mind, to the two ideas that are independent of each other. One is that these buildings are like modems. They look the same everywhere, or computer boards. That's their form of their function. That's why they look the same. It's because they actually serve the functional purpose. The other would be that, surprise, surprise, our cultures and various nations did talk to each other. These buildings' construction range date from the 1200 BC to now. So it's that we did compare notes. We did talk to each other. We did share ideas and styles, or perhaps we're more of a united force back then, to the point where we constructed the same type of buildings everywhere. Tiny islands to massive nations, everywhere, the same type of building. Either one of these theories, I feel like these photographs support. But again, this is not proof. This is just another straw to drop on the donkey's back. Just another in the endless list of evidence for you to consider and, come to your own conclusion. Maybe it's just a good-looking style that we all happen to agree upon. Maybe it's a construction technique that's well known. And, no doubt that that's the case. I just mean, maybe it doesn't mean maybe these photographs won't mean to you what they mean to me. That is for you to decide. I'm just sharing them. And rather than do a slideshow with music and stuff like I was tempted to, and just put the names on everything, I just go through them with you. And I'll keep talking to a minimal. I'll just tell you where they're from, the building. A little easier that way. I may have gotten one or two of the locations wrong, it's talking about tens of thousands of pictures. Sometimes sorting and labeling gets wrong. So I apologize in advance if I declare that your local cathedral is actually in, Azerbaijan or something. But I'm pretty sure that most of these are not old pictures. Most of these are modern pictures. So, and again, it's important to get this stuff out here before this AI photo shit goes everywhere and no one can believe anything that they see or hear ever again. So this is what I'm talking about here. This is the double tower or double steeple doorway. What I'm referring to in this style, again, these are my own terms. Doesn't mean anything. You can come up with your own name if you want. This is the sort of the quintessential look. You have a doorway here, usually oversized, sometimes in threes, most of the time arched, with a pyramidal roof. Usually the roof is up here, and 2 towers flanking the doorway. There's often a rose window here, or little clocks here, or like this little magnetron shape here. And there is often steeples on the top, which I was originally calling this the double steeple doorway, but I soon began to realize that these steeples take various formats. Sometimes they're domes, sometimes they're flat with just the 4-prong. It's all over the place. Stylistically, those are some of the differences. Sometimes, I'll go through and show you. Now, and oftentimes in the building constructed in the rear part behind it is another larger tower or a dome. So some of these pictures are from different angles, but those pictures I've just described are all I'm saying that's just what I'm calling this double tower doorway, okay? Now, sometimes they could have some little bit of crossover, like some of these will have more of a temple look with the columns here. Sometimes the tower takes a different shape. Sometimes it's a steeple, a roof, sometimes it's not, but this is the essential idea that I'm talking about. And I think that the similarity between these buildings across the world are striking because there's no reason for them to be. This is in Argentina, by the way. Argentina. This one is in Antigua and Barbuda. So, tiny islands, not really near Argentina. Not not very close to Argentina. They're not very close to most of the locations. So same kind of thing, pyramidal roof, rose window, but the main principle is the doorway here, the two towers flanking it. It's different style. So this one is also Antigua and Barbuda, and you can see this is a little bit different style, but it's the same kind of principle. So this is another one in Argentina. This is a newer, more modern one. You can, or at least a one that's an older one that's been sort of stuccoed over. And here's what I mean with the dome in the back. This one's also in Argentina. So just to show you that even within the same country, they can have different not only styles, but they have the same, or they can share different functions. Like this one might be a government building, one might be a church or a mosque, but the same style is almost leading to my brain like maybe these are some sort of functional industrial building that we've just repurposed and decorated differently and such, and it's actually serves a purpose, these functions, because really if you look at this, if you remove these metal domes, which it's odd that these are the different color than this if this is not tech, but either way you could just see this would be a flat tower, or you can put 4 prongs on it, or you can put a steeple on it. They're almost interchangeable. It's almost like a chimera kind of thing where you can change the arms or the legs. You can swap out the various pieces, to suit the function. This is an old photograph in Argentina. This one's more of a castle. This is like a government building. This is actually at one of the World's Fairs. This one is in Armenia. I believe it's a mosque. It's got the 3 doorways, larger doorway here. It's got the big dome in the back and the 2 towers. For whatever purpose they serve, that's just, for some reason we're running with this. Now some of them have 4, and I didn't feature those. I'm only talking about this right here. And the striking similarity between that and that. Armenia. I bet you most people from Armenia have never been to Argentina and vice versa. But that's what we got. Same style. Kind of weird. Tim O'Brien. This one's in Australia. Pyramidal roof, front columns. This one doesn't really have the steeples or the top pieces, but you can see how it easily could. And this is in Australia as well. So here the same setup. Triple doorway. 2 towers. This one does have the metal dome and antenna or steeple, whichever you want to call it. And this one is also in Australia. This is like the dunce hat. This is the classic, the quintessential sort of style, what I think. One that looks most tech-like, most industrial, and these peaks are just very high and, interesting. Doorway is massive, rose window, it all looks very technical to me. But this is just showing this style. This is in Australia, so built by, a bunch of convicts that were sent there in the 1800s. Somehow, since then, around that time, this was constructed. Very odd, but that's another story. Here's another one in Australia. They have no shortage of these, and you can see this one has the bigger dome or bigger steeple in the back. This one is also in Australia. And oftentimes when there's duplicates, there's not duplicates in many places. I just show the different styles that they're capable of. So you could say, well, this is only cultural, the changes, but it's not, because these are all in Australia. Australia, that's Australia, that's Australia, that's Australia. Oh, we haven't even done that one, but that's Australia as well. Church, and it's Catholic church, and it's Christian church, and it's college building, it's cathedral, it's government building, whatever it is. Mosque. This is in Austria. Metal domes, different from the rest. The 2 towers, doorway. Also in Austria. It's got a little bit of a curved shape. Same thing. 2 towers, doorway, dome in the back. This one is also in Austria. Doorway is obviously blocked by this fountain item. And this is in Austria as well. This pyramidal doorway, pyramidal roof, big towers. I don't know what this is. This looks like it's probably supposed to be up top somewhere. Took it down or whatever. But I mean, look at the size of the people though. This thing's massive. And, what's the point? How would you, if they're this small in the 1300s or whenever this was built, I mean, how do you even do this? I guess that's a different conversation, but regardless, Austria still has it, along with Australia, Argentina, Armenia, and Antigua and Barbados thus far. Pretty spread out, I'd say, huh? To be sharing the same exact style. Another fantastic example in Austria. And this one, oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I didn't misspeak. That one is not, it's in Azerbaijan, which is I believe it's in a disputed territory. Azerbaijan, Armenia, I believe there's some dispute there. I'm not certain, but I didn't want to think I was giving you misinformation. This one is actually in Azerbaijan, though you might find some that say it's in Armenia. Okay, how about that? We'll leave it at that. That's somebody else's fight, and I don't have a side. I don't know enough about it. This one is in Azerbaijan as well, and it's not the same, you might say. It's true, it's missing this piece here, but you still have the 2 towers, and you have the doorway, 3 doorways, and the colonnade. And this is, I'm sure, this is probably a mosque, or some religious place, or monument even. I just find it odd that stylistically, it's, the same thing. People that allegedly hate each other, Christian churches and mosques hate each other. Well, they've been killing each other for thousands of years. There will never, ever be peace, and yet we're going to do the same exact style, a building shape, just odd. This one, while a little more square than the others, this one's in Barbados. 2 towers, the dome, pyramidal ring, pyramidal roof, the door, Barbados. So what do they got in common with Azerbaijan? Inquiring minds would like to know, besides these buildings. This one's also in Barbados, a little more of a classic example. Now, this is something that you see every now and then as well, where the towers, rather than form of symmetry being the same, where they're different in make, shape, and to me, that implies functionality. Like they do different things. Otherwise, wouldn't you make them the same shape and size? I mean, I would think so, but maybe it's a style thing I just don't get. Maybe I'm not very fashionable. This one is in Belarus. See the big dome in the back, doorway, 2 towers, little pyramidal roof here. Belarus as well. This one composed entirely of brick. It's very pronounced 2 towers. Same principle. This is in Belgium. This monstrosity. This one is also in Belgium. It's not really part of this building. It's just its own thing. But this same concept. Towers. And you can see, you take this off and put 2 domes on it. Just take this roof off and leave it flat. Either one, it all works. Leaving me to wonder if the ones that are missing these roofs are in fact broken. Here's one in Belgium as well. And this is a Catholic church, not a mosque. Okay. This is the Basilica of the Sacred Heart. Yet we're still doing this kind of style. What I kind of call this birthday candle sort of look here. And the big dome in the back. And same thing. Here we have one in a residence in Belgium. Pyramidal roof, doorway, 2 towers. Bigger peak in the back. So very curious to me. Another example from Belgium. This one's with the door up front. You can barely see it down here in the bottom. But with this curved sort of building in the front. So stylistically a little bit different. Here you go in Belgium again. This one is the very little known country of Benin. Yes. Forgive the watermark. But again, you have the doorways down here. Slightly different. Pyramidal roof, 2 towers. Why? This one is in Bolivia. This is very old, yet same principle. This is Bosnia Herzegovina. Classic design, classic style. I like the way they shoehorn the tacky clocks in here. This is a very modern one in Brazil. Same principle. 3 doors, 2 towers, domes on top. Brazil has no shortage of them. They're very different. Many of them are very different. This one's Brazil as well. In principle, I'm repeating myself. This one is in Brazil as well. This one even having little mini steeples like those German helmets. And a very small building, this one, comparatively. I mean, I guess look at the person. Really, it's not really true. It's just a massive door. If anything, this one leads to the idea that people maybe were bigger at one point more than any other, because it's otherwise kind of small. Same concept here. This is also Brazil. This one looking like it's made entirely metal. I mean, this looks like absolutely a piece of tech to my obviously very limited perspective. This is Brazil as well. And this is Brazil as well. Big dome in the back, double tower, metal roof, steeple, weather vane, whatever you want to call it. Big rose window. Brazil, really just stunning buildings. And this one is in Brunei, where it serves no doubt a very different function, but still you have the doorway that's flanked by the 2 towers and the big dome sort of on the larger part behind it. Very stylistically different. And maybe this means nothing to you. Maybe you're like, I don't get it, man. So what? Houses look like houses, buildings look like buildings. Yeah, maybe. I'm leaving that entirely up to you. I'm just telling you what I think, what it looks like to me. This one is in Brunei as well. And this one's also in Brunei. Stunning building the way you look at it, but like the principle is still there. This one is Bulgaria. See the bigger dome kind of peeking back there? Also Bulgaria. And this one is also in Bulgaria. This is in Burkina Faso. This is in Africa. How this style got here, and I don't buy the missionaries hype. I mean, give me a break. Think about all the missionaries that are in existence in the world today. Tens of thousands, at least, right? At least. They're not out there building buildings like this. They're not out there building skyscrapers either. They're not out there they're building, if anything, small structures, small hovels and things. They don't care. It doesn't matter where you pray. So I don't buy that now. Our missionaries are just, but back then, every missionary that ever left to spread the word was a master builder, knew how to get the materials, sourced it, knew how to build things that lasted hundreds of years. I don't buy it. So the French built it while they were there. Oh, well, the Germans built it while they were there. I don't buy it. I mean, I know that's the story, but maybe in some cases, this one is in Cambodia, back in the day. I guess not too far back in the day. We got a little metal car here. A little modern-ish car here. This is the Central African Republic, one of the poorest countries on earth, but not too isolated to not have one of these, are they? Chile, not very close to the Central African Republic, as far as I can tell. And here you go. They shoehorn this clock in here. But this one's blank. What came later, I wonder? This one's also in Chile, just a different angle on this one. You can see the door here, the rose window, but the big dome in the back. Also Chile, and also Chile. This one is in China. China doing it. Same concept, same look. Also China, lest you think that's an isolated incident. It is not. This one's a kind of a crappy picture, but also in China, you get the idea. China as well. Kind of surprising to see so many of these in China, I thought. Not that that's all there are. There are a lot more than that. But and then we go to its next door neighbor, not Colombia. Same style. Terrible picture. I have to zoom in on that one, but same principle. Doors, the domes, the little pyramidal rooftop. Same here. This is Colombia as well. Colombia as well. This is in Congo, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Right. Very isolated from the rest of these countries. What's it doing there? This one's in Costa Rica. This one's in Croatia. A real stunner, this one. Then we have another from Croatia. Another one from Croatia. The dome in the back, this one. Classic style, bro. This one is... I believe this one is an old picture of this one. Looking very out of place. Pretty incredible. And of course, you've got Cuba. You've got the Czech Republic here doing their thing. A couple of different ways. This Czech Republic, of course, as you would imagine, of these fantastic versions. This one is in Denmark. Kind of an oddity because most of the time they build in brick, but they still have the same concept. This is in the Dominican Republic. Ecuador. Ecuador as well. This one is in Egypt, believe it or not. Same concept, even in Egypt. This is a different example of a different type of building with a different purpose than a monastery. This one's in Egypt. This is simply a sentry port. Now, see, in a situation like this, I would understand with the practicality of it and why it would be everywhere. On a wall, where this is just a port, that I could understand. But these are not part of walls for the most part. These are standalone buildings. This one is El Salvador. This one is also El Salvador. South American country, little tiny little thing, and pretty stunning. The doors, I mean, what's this doing in that country is another conversation, but this is very, very amazing stuff here. El Salvador as well. This is in England, right? This is Buckingham, the Baptist Chapel. As you can imagine, there are probably thousands of this example in England. Interesting here. This one is in Estonia. This one is in Ethiopia. How about that? This one is in the island of Fiji. Nowhere near anywhere. This one is in Finland. This is a very common scene in Finland. This is France. In France, don't even get me started. France is just hold my beer on everything. I mean, the amount of these that you see in France, of any building, really, of any of this old era, see the dome in the back, the same principle, the 3 doors. This is France just says hold my beer on all this stuff, and they produce just so many. It's ungodly how many different styles that they produce and how many there are. Every little town has one everywhere, and it's pretty amazing. This one with the different top, leading to the idea that they do different things. Maybe I know they're amazing, and you don't just go construct something like this for no reason. Okay, you're very moved, or it's very deliberate. Otherwise, you are wasting hundreds of hours of someone's time to do that. This is a good example. All these are in France. Every single one of these is in France. And I'm sure there are hundreds more. There's just a few that I snagged because, how could you ignore that? That is just unbelievable in general. If this isn't some sort of technology, I don't know what the hell. But old pictures, they look just the same, just as good as they do now. This is just fantastic. France is master of the style. Here you got Greece. Kind of surprising because Greece is not known for having any towers ever anywhere, but this is the same principle to my Brian. This is Guatemala, and Guatemala's got quite a few of them. Different little styles here, different purposes as everywhere else. Not to be left out would be Honduras in their own way, adding their own little charm. This one is in Hungary. Man, you would have thought it was just in Honduras. Look at that, just same Honduras to Hungary right there. Bizarre. Who would have thought they were so similar, the Hungarians and the Hondurans? Here is one that is in Hungary as well, which they could have used a brighter yellow. This one is also in Hungary as well. Very classic style. Got the big round one in the back there. Hungary, no shortage of these in Hungary either. As you can imagine, obviously that part of Europe is full of them. Now this is in Iceland, and this is just I threw it in because I thought it was a little interesting take on it. A little pyramidal roof here, the doorway down here. This is a church. They're still doing it. They out here doing it. Now whether it's just emulating old styles, maybe, but it seems like they're very deliberate to have this everywhere. And these ones are all in India. These next few you're going to see here. India has them all over the place. I love that. A little electric raver church. India's got them in all styles. Each different religion even. Each different type of temple. It still has the same look. And I want to know why. Why they got the same look. It's just very, very bizarre to me. This one is in Indonesia. This one's Saigon. I'm sorry, not Indonesia. This one is, the last one was. This one is in Vietnam. This is in Iran. And we have that kind of a repeated thing here in Iran. The same kind of a stylistic doorway in the middle, towers on the side thing, despite whatever it is. This is in Iraq. This one is in Ireland. Very different countries. Ireland has a ton of them. Even back here, this one's got the big dome. Italy, of course, has a lot of these, different stylistically, and some of them very ancient, like this. So it's an old thing. This is Japan, and Japan's got quite a few. There's another one in Japan with these top piece. Not sure what purpose this serves if it's not for radio transmission. This is Lithuania. Lithuania again. And Lithuania has a number of these, very different styles, and I guess more of a classic style, I guess you could say. This one is on the island of Madagascar. Kind of strange, who would bring that out there? And why? Does God give you cool points for these? Or maybe does God not care where you pray, just so long as you do? This one here is Madagascar as well, showing that they're not just a one-trick pony. This is Malaysia. I find this to be interesting in the background here. Malta. Malta has a ton of these, and now usually they're all made, and everything in Malta seems to be made of the same stone. So you'll see a lot of this sort of a beige color, but no shortage. Got the big dome in the back here, this one. Malta, it's designed, no matter how much flair, ornamentation is on them, they're all the same place, all the same kind of stone. Now we go to Mexico. That's right, Mexico, same situation, same style. Whether it's super old or much more new, whether it's a basilica, a temple, whether it's a government building, fascinating old buildings in Mexico. Stunned when I found out how much of this was in Mexico. That's a whole nother video. just absolutely flummoxed. Very close to Mexico, and have been there all over the country, and I'm always surprised by how diverse it is from what people assume. We do so many of these countries a disservice by just saying Mexico or Russia or Indonesia. It's like, you're talking about 2,500 islands or something. And I mean, Russia has 150 different ethnic groups that live there. That is diversity. And we lump it all together as if they're all the same behavior. It's just, we just do it a disservice. Just like in America. So don't lump me in with those freaking, the types that I'm not. Monaco coming in with this banger, and what a beauty. This is in the small, tiny nation of Montenegro. They don't want to be left out in this game. This is Mozambique, the African country that I doubt anyone from any of these other countries has ever been to. This is another one in Mozambique. So they just stumbled upon the same style as us, huh? That's weird. This is Myanmar, looking like it could just be taken right out of Finland. And this is the Netherlands, looking like it could actually be somewhere in Azerbaijan. I just do not see the difference in these building styles. Today's buildings, yeah, but not the buildings of yesteryear. New Zealand here. We have New Zealand, has many of these. Too many to parse through. Big dome in the back on this one. This is in all New Zealand. Then back all the way across the other side of the map, Nicaragua, not to be left out. Old or new, it matters little. Nicaragua's been showcasing this style for some time. Splitting hairs anyway. This one is Norway, and usually Norway seems to be fond of the red brick. Most everything in Norway is this. It looks like this, which is absolutely fantastic. But Pakistan. 2 towers, big doorway in the middle. This one has the big dome in the back, and it's taking some liberties, it's added some stuff. This is in Panama, and this one is in Panama as well. And this was in Paraguay. Also Paraguay. This is in Peru, and Peru has no shortage of these. Usually churches, sometimes government buildings, sometimes universities, but many of them wildly impressive, no matter what. This one is in the Philippines, as well as this one. This is a cathedral in the Philippines. This is a cathedral in the Philippines. This one is in, this one's also Philippines. Quite a number of them there. Poland coming through with some real bangers. And Poland has got some very epic, very antenna-like structures in many ways. Gothic look, I suppose you call it, or whatever. I call this is more of like it's a small world kind of look to me, like a toy factory or whatever. But beautiful. This one's absolutely just stunning. Poland has tons. And can you imagine? These are just the ones that are left of all the ones they bulldozed, destroyed, bombed. And, it's a shame. Really, it's pathetic. And these buildings stand out. Look how different this is from the surroundings. This is in Portugal. Dozens in Portugal of all make and manner, as you would imagine. Just absolutely beautiful. What a place. And Romania, their own little stylistic flair to it. But the principles are the same. This one is in Russia. This one's a mosque. Big dome in the back. Here you are. This one's in Russia as well, but different style. Cone here. The 2 different towers. Doorway in the middle. This one's a very interesting take on the style here in Russia as well. There's more of a classic example here in Russia. And this is in Africa, Sao Tome and Principe. No one's ever freaking heard of this place. It's a paradise island, basically. And even here, looking very old. So someone back in the day came here. They knew how to do this and proceeded to get the power and the money and the space and the land in this place to do this. How and for what purpose? It must be a really important function. And I don't mean a church. This is in Saudi Arabia. Even they get in on it. And this one's in Scotland. Over here we have Serbia coming in, chiming in with their own take on it. This is Slovakia here. This is another one from Slovakia. Slovakia got a handful of representations here. South Africa, not to be left out. This one I'm pretty sure is just a residence. South Korea would be this one. This one is in Spain. This is Sri Lanka. So very, very wide variety across the realm. Maybe there's nothing to it, but maybe there is.
The fuck is that?
Then we have a place called Sweden coming in with their own little takes on it. Sweden, very excellent examples. This one is in Switzerland. This one is also in Switzerland, this brick one. This one is also in Switzerland. See, even on this really kind of modern one, you have that big dome in the back. This one is in the sadly war-torn country of Syria. This is Taiwan, while this one is a mosque. This one is Thailand, not to be left out, of course. Very cool offerings. This is in the island nation of Trinidad and Tobago. This one is in Tunisia, in Africa. Very, very odd. This is also Tunisia. This is a synagogue. This is in Turkey. And this one is an old picture from a temple in Turkmenistan. Same principle. This is in the UK. Wells Cathedral here. Couldn't resist putting that in. This is in Ukraine. This one is in Uruguay. Who says I'm Uruguay? Uruguay. These are all Uruguay. Venezuela. Much maligned country. Still, though, share the same building, so we gotta be somewhat bros. Am I right, bro? This one's in Vietnam. This one's also Vietnam. Vietnam. This one's got the different angle, though, with the dome on the back there. And I could go Germany, the Netherlands, Cyprus. This is in Canada. There are hundreds in Canada. This is one is Germany, back to Bosnia, Brazil. This is an example in Canada. Venezuela again. Oh, that's right. A little land known as the United States of America. Now, certainly, we came so much later than the rest that we couldn't possibly, the new world, right? We couldn't possibly have any buildings that share any similarities with them unless we did like every now and then it's like an homage, right? You know, we just wouldn't have that. Well, this one's in Minnesota, and this one is in Minnesota as well. Same concept. Big dome in the back, doorway in the middle, flanked by 2 towers. Santa Fe, New Mexico. Same concept. Twin towers looking like they're missing steeples or something. Looking like a lot of stuff's missing. Rose window, doorway. Colorado, doorway, 3 doors actually, flanked by 2 towers, little pyramidal roof here. This one's just from the side. It's only missing the big dome in the back. Savannah, Georgia. Same concept. Pyramid, towers, 3 doors, rose window. This is St. Mary, Peoria, Illinois. Who built these? How is it that we are any different than the rest of the world? How is it this is Sioux City, Iowa? But if I told you if it was Denmark, if I told you it was in Africa, if I told you in Venezuela, you would accept all of those answers because they are everywhere. This is Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's in Chile, Santiago. This is an old picture from Cuba. This one's in Cyprus. This one from the side, so you can see the towers here. The doors on the other way, and this is the big dome in the back. This one is in Dakar, in the country of Senegal. This one is in Denmark. This one's in Denver. I mean, what is going on here? How does it explain any of this? This is Canada. This one is in Equatorial Guinea in Africa. Yet here you are in Newark, same principle, same type of building. This is a city hall in Florida. A city hall in Florida, but with the same layout as this church in Germany. Something's going on here. Germany as well, with absolutely stunning examples. My God, this one's just incredible. Couldn't leave these out, apparently. This one's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Not really expected to find the same situation, is it? This one is in Utah, New York. I believe this one is in Canada. Ottawa, maybe? This one's in St. Louis. This one is in... I don't remember. This one is Germany, though, this mosque. Same principle, though. This one is in Serbia. Belgium? Atlantic City. Charlottetown. This one is in Montana. This one is in Louisiana. This is in Namibia. In Africa, Nebraska, Texas, New York, Ukraine, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Hartford, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Wichita, Kansas, Croatia, Nashville, Tennessee, Alabama. This is Alabama as well, and this is Alabama as well, and this is Alabama as well, and this is a Dark Hall, Clark University, Arizona, San Augustine, Tucson, Arizona. See the 2 different towers here? This one really leading to the idea that they were of different function. This is the Hearst Castle in California. I'll be damned. William S. Hearst, you son of a bitch. What have you done? This one's also California. This one's in Cameroon. Again, one of the most poorest countries on earth. Cameroon as well. I think it's absolutely incredible. And so just to put in perspective, now I know that nation lines are arbitrary and drawn arbitrarily. And you may find an example of something on, one tiny example, and then, does it apply to the entire nation landmass? No. So I understand this is an oversimplification. But just to give you an idea of just in this slideshow, someone who did not set out to try to search for that. I mean, how could I even search for this, for these images? And I didn't try to look for them in every country, but I bet you if I were to look hard enough in every nation, I'd probably turn up at least one example. And that is, here's a map here to demonstrate just in this slideshow what the coverage is of that. The red spots being countries that were featured and found this design style. I had found it. Now, I don't know what that means to anyone else, but like I said, it's not proof of anything to me, but it certainly is a conversation. Anyway, that's all I got for you for now, but I will see you soon.